All right, so Derek Chauvin needs to be pardoned. I'm on board with Ben Shapiro on this here. Guys, it's weekend, it's Saturday. It is the 22nd of March already. The year's going by pretty quick so far. It's 7:15 in the morning here in Germany. This is the Weekly Rant. And I'm going to talk about pardoning Derek Chauvin because I think it's an important thing to do. I agree completely. Derek Chauvin was essentially wrongfully convicted, okay? He was doing his job. He was doing his job according to the rules that are set for him, according to the training that he received. There was no directive to murder George Floyd. That's not what happened. George Floyd was on a bunch of fentanyl. He asked to be put on the ground. We know the whole story. Derek Chauvin is essentially an innocent cop being put in prison. Now, Ben Shapiro came up with this idea, right? And what really pisses me off, right, is Ben Shapiro comes out with, I think we should pardon Derek Chauvin. And the reactions from a lot of conservatives, like the podcasters, the people that I actually like, you know what I mean? They're out there, they freaked out. They're like, oh my God, this is the worst fucking idea ever. It's going to hurt Donald Trump. BLM is going to be back. If we thought the summer of love in 2020 was bad, just wait what happens if we do this. And wait a second. Whoa. So, first of all, Donald Trump's not running for president after this, right? And so it's not going to hurt Donald Trump because he didn't have to be elected again. Now, may it hurt the Republican Party? Maybe a little bit. But again, there's enough reasons why they should never let Democrats into office again. So I don't think it's going to hurt them that bad. And even if it does, listen, are we really going to sit here and say we have to let an innocent dude rot in prison forever because it may hurt the Republican Party or because, oh, BLM and the left might get angry? What the fuck kind of reasoning is that? That's insane. Now, so basically, I know that conservatives and all these people, they wouldn't have my back if I was innocent and put in prison. If my case somehow was politically not handy at the moment to be able to be freed from something I didn't do. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. And this justification gets used for everything. It gets used for everything. Oh, well, there's a murder case, right? There's a murder case, and there's a lot of pressure on the cops to find the person who did it. So the cops feel like, well, we just need to have a person in handcuffs, right? Now, this doesn't happen all the time, but it still happens, right? And they need to find somebody. And then they go hard on somebody that didn't do it, right? Because they want to save face. So saving face to these people is more important than finding the actual person that killed somebody. They just want the case closed. That's an insane way to think. Now, having said all this, there is a caveat that I didn't know until I watched Candace Owens speak about this on Piers Morgan, right? I didn't realize that Derek Chauvin, while he was in federal prison, he was basically, which one? No. Okay, it's the other way around. So while he was in state prison, right? He was basically in lockdown 24 hours a day. He had to fear for his life. His life sucked in that state prison, right? And then when he got convicted of the federal charges, he was put in a much nicer, chilled out facility, right? And his life is much better there. I think he's closer to his family. He's got more freedom. It's minimum security. He's all right. He's doing good. He likes it there better, right? If he were to be pardoned, that would only count for the federal charges, which would mean he would be taken out of that federal prison and put back in the hellhole state prison that he didn't want to be in the first place. So looking at that, I don't think that it would be a good idea to pardon Derek Chauvin because you'd basically be fucking him over because the pardon won't work on state charges, right? State charges don't go away with a pardon, it's only federal. So his life would be fucked. You know what I mean? Because he's not getting out of the state charges. I don't think there's a way to reverse the conviction on that. Maybe there is. Maybe there are still appeals running. I'm not sure. But if what Candace Owens said is true, that this federal facility is much more to his liking, and it gives him a more comfortable life. If he's going to be spending his life in jail no matter what, then you might as well let him sit in the federal prison that he really likes. So pardoning him would be a kick in his balls. That would suck. But what I'm more pissed about is I think the idea of pardoning Derek Chauvin is a good one, right? I think the idea is a good one. I think that you can't convict innocent people because the people want to see blood, right? That's just the way it is. You can't, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's not the way the system is supposed to work, right? And I know that I go off all the time on, we gotta start convicting Democrats. We gotta start punishing the Democrats. Look, that's true. I only want the Democrats that are guilty of something to be convicted. But I do want the Trump administration to make the process, the punishment a little bit for some of these Democrats. That's what they did to the Trump conservatives, the January 6 people, and I do want them to get a taste of their own medicine. As unsmart as that may be, I really believe that these kind of people, the Democrats, you can tell right now, they're not learning any lessons from this election. They don't give a fuck. They're ready, as soon as they get power again, to cram down their crazy, insane, upside-down world ideology on the people, whether they like it or not. And you're going to take it, or you're going to get fired, you're going to get arrested, you're going to get jailed, you're going to get, the process of the punishment of weaponized government, weaponized legal system. They've done it before, and they will do it again times 100. So I think the only way to work with people like that is they need to get a taste of their own medicine. Fire with fire. That's my belief. There's people that don't agree with me. My buddy K-Mag in Texas doesn't agree with me. We agree on a lot of stuff, right? Doesn't agree with me there. He thinks, no, we cannot violate our principles in order to, two wrongs don't make a right, etc. That kind of idea. Which, hey, fine, he can believe that. I don't think that will work. I agree with his principle on it. I agree that you shouldn't break your principles or your values in order to attain a certain goal in general. But I think also that people who are unwilling to learn, unwilling to listen, unwilling to realize they were wrong, right? And those people having power is a whole different story, right? Like, I don't have to give everybody in the world a taste of their own medicine, because everybody in the world doesn't have power over my life. But Democrats and people in politics and people in power, they have they have a lot of power. They have a lot of influence over what happens to everyday people in their lives. And I don't want people that will go to any lengths to attain power being in control of anything that involves me. And in the case of the Democrats, they need to be kicked back in their corner. They need to get a taste of their own medicine. Absolutely. I don't know why I went off on this tangent, really. But that's my stance, right? So I think that in the case of Derek Chauvin, I think that he was wrongfully convicted. I don't think that he should be serving time, not in state or federal prison. I think the idea is the right idea, but I do also think that Ben Shapiro should do some real investigation, maybe talk to Derek Chauvin before he does something that he thinks is the right thing to do, gets his ass pardoned on the federal charges, and therefore condemns him to an eternity in this hellhole state prison where he's basically locked up 23 hours a day in a cage. And again, he is not guilty. And I don't care what the courts or the people say or any of that shit, because look, the institutions have been untrustworthy for a long time, and they haven't done a fucking thing yet to regain trust of the people. They obviously do not care that the trust of the people has been lost. So I do not trust their, I don't trust their decisions, in these court decisions, unless I see actual, real evidence of the crime. And in the case of Derek Chauvin, I watched some of that trial, enough of it to see that basically the cops are trained for this maneuver. Floyd was arrested and begging to be pulled out of the car and put on the ground. Please put me in the ground, blah, blah, blah. I can't breathe. He's got a horse load full of fentanyl in his ass. The guy is going to die probably. He had COVID, all that shit. You know what I mean? Derek Chauvin didn't kill that guy. And he didn't do it in murder style. it also wasn't a racist thing. I mean, if we remember correctly, Derek Chauvin and George Floyd knew each other from, I think, bouncing at clubs or some shit like that, right? Has Derek Chauvin ever killed a black person? You know what I'm saying? Is he an obvious racist person? I don't think any of that was proven in trial at all, right? It's just like the idea that Kyle Rittenhouse killed a bunch of black people on the day that he shot all those white people. You know what I mean? That people still in America think that Kyle Rittenhouse shot black people. No, not one of them was black. Not one. Right? So it was all in self-defense. And luckily, the court system did the right thing in his case. I mean, I don't think the judge was really on his side, but luckily, the people at his trial, the jurors, saw through it and didn't convict this kid. Now, in the case of Derek Chauvin, all the evidence points to, obviously, George Floyd had way too much drugs in his system. I think they said he had COVID. He was struggling. He was resisting. He kept begging to be put on the ground. But the cops are trained to put their knee between the shoulder blades to keep them pinned down. His knee is not on George Floyd's throat or his neck, right? It's just not. And also, I'm not so sure that you choke to death by having something put on the back of your neck if your face is on the ground, right? I don't think it works like that, but I am not a medical expert, so I may be wrong there, but I just imagine myself being pinned to the ground face down, right? So my face is on the ground, so my throat is not on the ground, my face is on the ground, and then somebody's got their knee on my neck, if that was the case, which it isn't the case in George Floyd's thing. It looks like it, it's just not, right? It's just not. Would you choke to death or not be able to breathe because of that from the back of your neck? Now, if it was the other way around, if you're laying on your back and somebody's got their knee on your throat, yeah, I think you probably would choke to death there. You know what I'm saying? You probably would. But the other way around, I'm not sure it works like that. Just think of it logically. Again, I'm not a medical expert. I don't do autopsies. I have no idea. But just logical, everyday, layman's terms people, let's think about that for a second, you know? Also, if you just don't struggle, you know, you can't put yourself up, you've got your shit in handcuffs, and why struggle? You know what I mean? If you feel like you can't breathe, you don't fucking move around a lot. Anyway, it's clear if you watch the evidence, if you watch the case, if you watch what happened, it's clear that George Floyd did not get murdered in racist cold blood by Derek Chauvin. That does not happen. So why is Derek Chauvin going to be in prison forever? You know what I mean? I think that the governor should be appealed by Ben, right? And the people that are supporting the movement. The governor of the state that Derek Chauvin, I think it was Minnesota or Michigan, should be appealed to pardon him on the state level, and then you can pardon him on the federal level. I think he should be pardoned all around. And I don't care how many liberals throw a fit about it. I don't care how many fucking BLM fucking idiots, which have already been discredited completely. So I don't know why anybody, especially those in power, would take BLM seriously at all. I don't see that as being a reason to not let an innocent man out of prison. And all of these conservatives are running around after Ben Shapiro came out with this idea, talking about, no, that would hurt the movement, and that would hurt MAGA, and that would seem crazy. Why would we want riots in the streets again? And so basically, these are these pussy rhino conservatives, right? These are these pussy, not real conservatives, not really stand-up people. These are the people that think, why let an innocent man out of prison if it's going to make problems for other people? Well, that's crazy. That we can't think like that. You know what I mean? We've got to get this idea out of our heads. And to think that just liberal people think like that or leftists think like that is crazy, because this is coming from the conservative side. They don't want Derek Chauvin pardoned because they're afraid it's going to somehow hurt their movement, or BLM might be back. So they're just pussies. They're pussies who won't stand up for the right thing. And that's insane. That's insane. Those are the kind of people I don't want in the movement. Those are the kind of people I have no respect for at all. They're losers, right? It's in madness that you can think like that. You know, it would be the same thing now that Tesla is getting attacked all over the place, It would be the same thing if people went on the conservative side and said, well, Elon, dude, bro, forget about Doge, man. We tried, but it's just pissing off too many people, man. We got to let these government employees back in. We got to let them steal money from the American people in the billion-dollar amounts. We got to let them keep moving on it, guys. We can't fucking do this. We got to back down. Let's just quit. Because too many lefties are going to be angry. But we can't have that. That'd be the same thing. That's bananas. How can you step away from doing the right thing because it may not even hurt you, right? But it may hurt other people or piss off other people. That seems bananas. So yes, Derek Chauvin should be pardoned, but on the state level first. Please check it out. Ben, I know you're not listening to this because I'm not big at all, right? So there's no chance you're going to hear this. But Candace knows, and I know your relationship with Candace isn't so great, but she knows. You guys watch each other's shit. Why don't you at least try to get the governor petition out? Ben is doing a series on this, which I haven't watched. So full disclaimer there. I haven't watched his series. I don't know what his stance, if he's even tried to petition the governor of Minnesota or Michigan, one of the two. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. But if not, that's the route to go. Get him out of the state charges first, right? So he doesn't end up back in that shithole. And then pardon him on the federal level and let him be a free man. And no matter what, BLM, any lefty, any moron, any conservative, no matter what anybody says, the guy is clearly innocent and he should be let go on all charges. That's my rant for this week, people. If you guys want to get all my stuff directly put in your inbox once it's published, including the articles I write, the place to be is the Substack. Go to It's All About logic.substack.com. Go to it'sallaboutlogic.substack.com. You see it on the screen there. Go there, subscribe for free or for $5 a month. Either way is fine. But then you get all my content, uncensored, unbanned, all that stuff right into your inbox as soon as it's published, including my articles. Whereas on every other platform, there's always a risk that it's going to disappear, not going to be up, people don't use that platform, whatever. The Substack's the best place. So go there, get it there, and we'll see you guys on the next rant and on Monday for the Insanity Report. Have a great weekend. Catch you guys next time.